Okay, welcome to a Friday Reads where I talk about what I've read, what I'm reading, what I hope to get to next, and thank you guys so much for all of the birthday wishes this week. Made my heart so happy. Everyone who said happy birthday in a Discord or a comment in that video, messaged me on Voxer or Instagram. Thank you so much. It made me so happy. I don't know, I never know how to respond to it all because, I feel so much more than just the thank you that I respond, but I also don't know what to say. But I really appreciate all of it. And I decided to do an impromptu reading vlog challenge, which you might be seeing this weekend. And I am way more in a reading mood this week than I was last week. Last week I was struggling. I have found some balance. But we'll talk about what I finished. Actually, so I didn't finish this first, but we'll just talk about it first, and that's The Path of Daggers by Robert Jordan, Book 8 in the Wheel of Time. And I don't know if it's sloggier for me than other books. If I'm being honest, I don't think it was more disappointing to me than The Great Hunt or, I don't know, I didn't like Lord of Chaos that much. It was about the same for me as both of those, but it was shorter. So in some ways, it wasn't as good for me as Crown of Swords. It didn't have an ending that I like. I don't like how he does endings. At all. I'm really glad that the ending of this series is not executed by him. And I mean, I also, to his credit, it's also just because the way he's chosen to write this series is not by putting contained arcs in a traditional way within the stories. Arcs close and open up, but not in where you would want them to in books. We finally finished an arc that we started 3 books ago, but in the first third of this book. And there are whole other arcs that we teased at the end of last book that we haven't talked about yet, and I'm sure it'll happen in the next book. It's just not my favorite way to have a story be executed. It's just not my thing. That said, I did really like the most recent episode, episode 6, not the one that's airing the day you're watching this, which I think 7. I liked episode 6. I have always wanted what they did with a character, Moraine, to have happened in the book, so I was really happy when that happened. But otherwise, same complaints that I always have. This one in particular was a whole lot of, let's look at a whole bunch of cultures of women and how they perform hierarchy, see how different they are, and yet they're all the same in terms of power struggles and how everyone's always vying for control and leadership. It's just not how healthy group dynamics work, and I understand you would want some unhealthy power struggles, that's interesting, but if they're all unhealthy power struggles, that's just annoying and that's not realistic. There are power dynamics that do work where people tend to have leadership positions and follow, it doesn't have to be this contentious, and they're always contentious. There's always bickering, and I'm just goodness. So yeah, Wheel of Time thoughts. Getting back into it probably in February. I'm going to take a break. I've had so much Wheel of Time between reading 2 of the books this fall and winter and then the show. I have just so much Wheel of Time in my brain. So I finished that. And then I finished this actually first. I actually read 250 pages of it on Sunday, and I've already talked about it in another video this week, but I finished Jade Legacy. It got to a point where I was I couldn't put it down. I just kept reading it, and I kept reading it, and I kept being stressed. It was fantastic. It was a fantastic ride. I spent the whole day after reading it texting all the people I had known who had read it, being that scene, and we were oh yeah, and talking about all the things. Definitely did not predict a lot of what happened. Some things I predicted, but not in the path that it went down. I don't know. It's so good. One of my favorite series enders of all time. Yeah. It was phenomenal. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. Maybe one day I will cohesively explain my love of that trilogy. I still do have a should you read when I had finished the first 2 books, and I think that's still very useful. And the only addendum I would add onto that video is if you're like me and were lukewarm or really liked but didn't love Jade War, Jade Legacy was just it stuck the landing. It was fantastic. It reminded me more of how I felt reading Jade City. So, for me, I think the middle's the weakest part, but it's not a bad part. I just love Jade City and Jade Legacy so much more. So those are things I have finished. Plus, and I'm not going to talk about it much here because it's going to be in the vlog, and I need to film a spoiler vlog for Patreons, or a spoiler chat, and that's Redemption in Indigo. I really like this. This is the first Karen Lord I read, and just briefly, this is, I believe, a Senegal retelling. I hope I have the country right. Regardless, it is a folklore retelling, reimagining, where we follow Pama, who has a glutton husband, and it starts with that, and it's probably like the most folklore-y, least fun part of it for me, although I still laugh at the narrative voice of this work. And then it leads into Pama being handed a chaos stick, and the Indigo Lord wanting their chaos stick back, and the journeys they go on to try and get that to happen. It's really short, and for me has so much of my trope candy and is so compelling, and I love the ending, and I love the messages. And again, now reading this knowing Karen Lord's a favorite author, just her sentence structures, I love them. And this is folklore that references quantum mechanics. So if there's ever a story that's literally just like crafted for my soul, it's this one. Also, I learned Robin Miles is the narrator. So I listened and physically read. I did a whole bunch of ways I read this time around. I read from this, I read from the ebook, I read on my phone, I listened to the audiobook. I just consistently consuming this over a short period of time. And what am I in the middle right now? Temper, Nikki Drayden. This is another book I'm talking about more in that vlog, so I'll try and be brief here, but this is so good. I'm having so much fun, which is why I picked it up for my kind of challenge vlog, because I know that both Karen Lord and Nikki Drayden have writing styles that keep me engaged and keep me wanting to read. This is no different. Now, you're probably thinking, Angela, but weren't you going to read The Liar's Knot? And I was, but I just randomly decided to do a challenge vlog, and I wanted to try and finish things, and I don't know if you've met The Liar's Knot, but it's a chonky one, and I didn't want to rush The Liar's Knot. And a lot of my friends were like, I can't wait to read this going up to Christmas. And I'm like, that sounds cozy. So I am picking this up next. Like, I did start it. I got a little bit in, like the prologue in the first chapter and the prologue. It's good. It's a good prologue. So I'm very early days in this, and I'm excited to keep reading it because it's good. It's good. I mean, like, I say that having read 40 pages. But I mean, I've read The Mask of Mirrors, so I know what I'm in for. I'm excited. And honestly, I'll feel so good now that I've had those Patreon things read and enjoyed. So then I don't have any obligations left for the month. I mean, this is my obligation to myself, and I'm lying. There is one more, but I'm for sure can read these two things, this and The Poison Song, which is the last book in the Winnowing Flame trilogy. So I really also want to get to this. This is shorter than Bitter Twins. It's, I think, 570-ish pages. And I want to finish this trilogy. I want to see how it ends. And it'll also just be really nice to have completed a certain number of series and things like that. So this is probably my favorite cover. A, because it's this cool green. I like this green. And I really love this character and this cat. I mean, I love cats. Like, I'm pretty on brand, honestly, me liking the winged cat creature. So, excited to get to that. I don't think I'll pick anything up before, but just in case my mood strikes, I do have the continuation standalone around still, the Turning Darkness into Light, and I do have a secret book that I'm not allowed to talk about because if you remember, last year I was a part of this reviewing Secret Santa thing, and I'm doing that again, where we are given somebody to review one of their books that they love. So we pick one of their favorite books, read it, and make a review and post it all on the same day, and that's happening on Monday. So I need to read that. I've been reading it. It's in the background. Can't show you because it could give away who my person is, but I will be talking about it on Monday, so you will see it then. And the last thing I will show you guys, because I have like a tiny birthday haul. I actually haven't opened most of my presents, but I don't think any of them would be books. I don't think. If they are, I'll talk about them next week. But I don't normally ask for books for Christmas just because, like, have you seen my shelves? There's not a lot of space. So even though I want all the things, I haven't even figured out how to put both Jade Legacy and The Liar's Knot on my shelf yet. The math is hard there. But Ryan was so sweet. And he heard I was looking for the graphic novels by N.K. Jemisin, and that inspired him to get me these Buffy graphic novels, which I love Buffy. I love Buffy, Charmed, Bones are like my three shows, and what's it called? The West End, right? That's what it's called? No, the West End is a place where musicals happen. West Wing. Anyways, those are like my four shows that I like continuously rotate. Buffy's no exception. I think I've watched the entire series 3 or 4 times. And I think this isn't the comics that continued after the show. I haven't read those, and I think I'm right. I think this is like a retelling, reimagining of it, because this is like the high school days in this one. And he got me the first 2, and so this one is the second volume. And I don't really know how close to the episodes they are, what they do. I mean, the art looks like the characters in the show, and I actually was looking through it, and some of the art is quite scary, which makes sense. It's a vampire thing. If you don't know what Buffy is, I don't even know. There's a Buffy book tag on my channel that I did with a bunch of my friends where we pair characters with things. And actually, there's someone who did a recommending books to Buffy's characters. I can link that down below, and it was a fun video. But regardless, it's a show about a vampire slayer named Buffy, and she slays vampires. And she has friends in high school. It's very Scooby-Doo. It's great. Found family. Lots of forbidden love. Fun stuff. So that's this video. I am still having a good birthday I'm filming this. It's my birthday while I'm filming. It's not my birthday when you're watching it. It's already happened. I'm already old. And I don't think I have anything else to say. I'm going to have fun this weekend seeing Spider-Man and playing board games with my friends. That's the plan. And if you want to leave an emoji, goodness, I've been reading a lot of creepy things. And I just talked about Buffy. Ooh, a full moon would be very appropriate. There's a moon on this cover. And, it's really creepy at night, and it's really cold. So anything that's cold, like the shiver emoji or a moon, I think would work really well. Feel free to tell me your plans, what you've been reading. I'm back in a reading mood. Are you back in a reading mood? Are you waiting for finals to be over? Are you just overwhelmed and just watching cozy TV? Because that's totally fair. That's, completely fair. I feel that in my soul. And are you also consumed by Tick, Tick, Boom? Because I have not stopped listening to that soundtrack. I've listened to it at least 20 times. I can't get it out of my head. I can't. Every song lives rent-free in my mind, and I know that's kind of a punny joke considering he's the creator of Rent, but we're just gonna let it go. Like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.